Hi there, James here, and hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another one of my guitar lessons. Now, a short while ago, I was coaching one of my Total Guitar Lab members on some rock rhythm guitar techniques, and I showed them a really cool method for learning and remembering most of the important power chords that you need to know. Now, they found this really helpful, so I thought I would share it in today's YouTube video. What I'm going to do is show you how to learn your power chords and organize them in a really simple way, which will help you to be able to find them when you need them and just stop you kind of fumbling around trying to find the chords you need. So it's really easy to use. So let's dive in now and have a look at how we can organize all our power chords to make us much better rock and metal rhythm guitars, as well as making it much easier to discover and create our own killer rock riffs. So let's get to it. Now, I'm sure you're probably familiar with this power chord shape. I'm going to play it on as an A5 chord at the 5th fret on the E string. So I'm playing the 5th fret on the E, the 7th on the A, and the D string at the 7th fret too. Sometimes we can leave off the D string and still get an A5 chord, but I'm going to be using the 3-string examples for this lesson. So again, you probably know that, but do you know that we can easily move that chord shape up an octave to get a new A5 power chord? So here's how we do that. If we take the root of our chord shape here, E string at the 5th fret, and we go up 2 frets and skip a string to the D string at the 7th fret, we're playing the A root up an octave. And we can build this power chord shape off that D string root. So I'm going to play 7 on the D string, 9 on the G string, and 10 on the B string. And what we've basically got here is our original A5 power chord up an octave. Now this is pretty powerful if you think about it, because wherever you can find this power chord shape, you can always find it up an octave just by going to the D string and moving up 2 frets. So for example, we've got F5 down at the 1st fret. We could play an F5 here up 2 strings on the D string. We could do the same with G5. So instead of taking this power chord shape here and trying to learn where it is, you can use the E string one as a kind of a map for finding them. Now the reason this is so cool is it means you can mix them up really easily. So instead of just being stuck on that E-shaped power chord the whole time, you can begin to put in the higher ones as well. I mean, let's say we had a very simple type of rock riff here. I'm going to keep it really easy so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But let's say we had a G5 chord here at the 3rd fret, and I was hitting it and sliding it up to 5 to get an A5 chord. Say I had that kind of thing. If I wanted to create a bit of a variation on that, I could maybe go from the A to the A up an octave as well. Something like this. It's very simple, but you can see it gives a little bit of a different sound than just doing this. If we wanted to take that even further, we could do the G on the D string as well. We could play that one up an octave and do the whole slide and everything on that new set of chords on the higher strings. Something like that. This is particularly powerful if you're playing in a band with another guitar player, where one of you can play the lower chords and one of you can play the higher chords. You can also do this in a recording setting. You can overdub the higher chords over the low chords. And this is a studio technique which bands like AC/DC and Guns N' Roses and all the metal bands really do to get that massive power chord sound which we hear on all their recordings. Okay, so far you've kind of got 2 power chords for the price of 1. We know that whenever we've got our E string chord, we can find the same power chord shape up an octave and really use it to create interest and variation in our riffs. But it doesn't stop there, because we can do it with another power chord shape. So you probably know this power chord shape with the root on the A string. I'm going to play it as C5 here at the 3rd fret. I've got the A string at the 3rd fret and the D and the G strings both at the 5th fret. Now, just like before, if we take our root on the A string and we go up 2 frets and skip a string, we land on the G string. And that is our root up an octave. Now, obviously we're on the top 3 strings here. We're not going to get a massive chunky power chord sound, but it's still really useful. We can build a C5 chord off that root up an octave. Now this shape looks just slightly different. We're going to play the 5th fret on the G string, and we're going to play the 8th fret on the B and the top E string. Now I tend to bar that with my little finger. And again, it's completely movable. So if we wanted, we've got B flat 5 down here at the 1st fret. We could find it up an octave here. C5, we're done. D5. And E5 at the 7th fret. There'd be there up an octave. So imagine that you were just chugging on a D5 chord down here. If you want to create some variation, you could put another guitar over the top using the higher chord shape, something like this. Or you could even combine them. So just as a recap on what we've covered so far, when we've got the E string power chord, with the root on the E string, we can grab this one up an octave. When we've got the A string root power chord, like this one, we can grab it up an octave here. So now that we've got those 4 power chords organised in a logical way, it makes it much easier to find them and use them creatively. And what you do with them is up to you, and it's only really limited by your imagination. I'm just going to show a simple example which demonstrates one possibility. To start with, I'm just going to use the E shape and the A shape chords, and then we'll see how we can add a sort of different angle on the whole thing by using the brighter chords as well. So here's the basic riff. So I'm taking the G5 at the 3rd fret on the E string, I'm hitting it and sliding it up to A, then I'm hitting it again. Then I'm going G, A, G, A. And I'm doing that twice. Then I'm doing the same thing down here on the A string root chord, starting at the 1st fret, B flat up to C. Now there are a lot of ways we could vary a riff like this using some of the higher chord shapes, and really it's up to our imagination to come up with some good ideas. But I've just got a simple idea here to show you, and what I'm going to do is begin on the E shape down here on the 3rd fret, the G, sliding up to the A just like we were doing in the simple version of the riff. Then I'm going to move to the G up an octave on the D string, and I'm going to pick that and move up to A at the 7th fret. So instead of this, now we've got, then I'm going to go back to the low G and then back to the low A again. So I've got this so far. So that sounds a bit different to this. Okay, so that's the first part of the riff. When we come to the B flat at the 1st fret, we can do a similar sort of thing. So I'm going the B flat up to the C there, then I'm grabbing the B flat up an octave, moving it up to C up an octave, and then back to the low ones again. Again, very simple variation, but it just gives you some idea, kind of ideas you can come up with these riffs. Let's have a listen to that over the drum track now. So now you've got 4 really useful power chord shapes and you know how to organize them. And this is going to be really helpful because when you're making up riffs or trying to work out someone else's stuff or just jamming with someone, you're not going to be stumbling around trying to find them. You're going to have them organized in a way that you can easily find them, get your fingers to them and start using them in your music. Now I'll put the exact drum loop that I'm using here on a video on my channel, and you'll find the link to that in the description below, so you can click through to that and practice some of these ideas as well as some of your own ideas over that drum groove that I'm playing over in this lesson. So I hope you find this useful. I sure wish I'd known about this when I was sort of messing around trying to figure out power chords. If you like my lessons, then remember to check out my website, and also please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my forthcoming lessons in the future. So until next time, thanks for watching the video. Have a great day experimenting with all these cool chords. See if you can come up with some great riffs, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. So I'll catch you next time.